was a good clap too.
Oh man, that's fine. We can start it here. We here now.
Welcome. You already know what it is. This is Mind the Gap. I'm one of your hosts, Darrius.
I'm your boy TK.
And today we're going to be talking about Deandre Somerville, a young man who was sentenced to 10 days in jail, along with some other things for not showing up to jury duty.
Not showing up or being late?
No, he missed it.
Missed the whole thing?
Yeah, he missed the whole thing.
Okay.
So we're going to get into that. But before that, make sure you are following us on our social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at PODMTG. Also, make sure you subscribe to us on Patreon if you want extra bonus content and, early access to episodes, discount on merch, a little something. And what else? Make sure you like, comment, subscribe our YouTube videos, and we check out our podcast on Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, and with SoundCloud. Rightio. All right.
And Pinterest. We ain't got no Pinterest, man.
We gonna make it though.
Well, we gonna make it, man. We might as well, man. I've been promoting.
We'll put it out in the universe now.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, if you don't know, a young man by the name of Deandre Somerville was sentenced to 10 days in jail because he overslept and missed his jury duty appointment. And on top of that, he also
had a $230 fine.
Right.
He also had to come back and talk about why jury duty is important.
Right. He had to write a letter of apology to the court, and he got a year of probation.
Yeah, a year of probation.
A year of probation.
And this is a young man who started.
And 150 hours of community service.
Ooh, I forgot about that too. Lord have mercy.
For missing jury duty.
Lord, and this is a man who started off, or a young man that started off with no criminal record at all.
Only 21 years old.
No criminal record at all.
I've seen people with records get lesser sentences than that.
For doing more than that.
To do more than that. That's ridiculous. So, for some reason, the judge, I believe his name was John Kastrinkis.
I don't care.
Decided to make an example out of this young man. I believe one of the reasons he gave was that he happened to be the only African American that would have been on that jury at the time. So he felt the need to make an example out of him. Instead of just having a conversation with the young man, show him like this is why you're important. He's like, I'm just gonna throw you in jail.
But regardless of that situation, and I understand as a judge, you have to understand all angles. But as a jury, you're supposed to have a jury. He brought up the fact that he was the only African American that was on the jury. And as a jury, I'm supposed to think objectively. I'm not supposed to really see color, race, or creed or anything like that. So I'm on the jury as a blank page. And I'm allowing the defendant, and the prosecutor to paint a picture for me. Like, I'm supposed to think objectively. Mm-hmm. So for you to, as the judge, you're also supposed to think objectively. You bring up my race, and the reason why you punished me is because I was the only African American on the jury, which also didn't make sense to me. So if it was one of the white jurors that was on there, even though there's a group of them, would he have got the same thing? Yeah.
Well, that's funny because after the backlash and he dropped all the charges in the sentencing, he said, I would have done this to anyone.
But that conflicts with what you said
earlier, that I made it a point to make an example of, because he was the only African American.
He was a vital piece to the jury.
And the thing was, it wasn't like it was a major case. It was like a civil dispute over a traffic incident. Yeah. So it's
big words for small range.
It doesn't seem like
it's like, bro, why did you try to do that, fam? Just own up, dog.
It doesn't seem like the punishment matched what he did.
Yeah, because it wasn't like a high-profile crime.
No. At all.
Like, in no situation. Like, that was
a traffic accident.
But the fact that you gave this man 10 days, and usually when I looked it up, somebody that missed jury duty, I think that one of them I seen when I looked it up, it was like the maximum is 5 days. Mm-hmm. Maximum 5 days, but you'll get fined or some shit like that. But in this situation, it was like to the extreme. Yeah. And then go back to the case of my man being shot in his apartment.
Mm-hmm. Both and John.
And how people was upset about how how jurors and the jury and other people don't show that same empathy for people of our color.
Right.
This is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
My man was late to jury duty. An accident that could have happened at any time.
What happened was he had woke up late. He had missed his way to the courthouse, so he just decided to go to work, which is he works for the Department of Parks and Recreation.
Yeah.
So he was
ironically.
Yeah. And I read that he was slightly concerned about what may happen. He thought he may get a fine. Yeah. Which he did. On top of a lot of other stuff.
He got the fine.
So like a couple weeks later, police show up at his grandparents' house and they arrest him, and then they take him back to the court, and that's when they charge him. And you know he talked about how it really affected him because you know he was the primary caretaker like his grandparents and his grandfather who had suffered, you know, he had issues moving around because he had suffered from a heart attack. You know, so that had ripple effects on his family by this young man not being able to be there and take care of his family. So, and I think there's a reason. I think this is a classic example of why, you know, black people get like 20% longer sentences than white counterparts for the same crime, and how black people are like 3.6% more times to go to local jails than white people. You know, it just, and I think, why am I doing this? Is this what I do?
Sometimes you do that. Is this what I do? It's better than messing with your nose. I tell you.
See, now you said it, and now my nose started itching. I forgot what I was gonna say. What you gonna say?
Basically, I'm saying like that's what it comes down to when people are outraged when you see this white lady in jail, in the courtroom getting all of this empathetic love. Oh, I understand, brushing her hair, giving her Bible, consoling her, I forgive you, and all this other stuff. She murdered somebody. Right. Man is gone. My man was late to jury duty on a traffic stop or a traffic case.
It was civil dispute.
Not murder.
Not murder.
Not murder.
He wasn't even involved in.
Yeah, he wasn't even involved in. Yeah. And he get this. So that's why that type of outrage is people feel that it's valid because we don't get that same empathetic love. So when it comes down to stuff like this is what we're talking about. My man has never done anything. And then on top of that, instead of just making up, you say, you know, I did give him a little bit of a harsh sentence. You say, man, I think he's rehabilitated.
Rehabilitated from what? Like he was a criminal.
Like a mistake? Yeah. You talk about a mistake that we all make every day. We make mistakes every day. Tell me a time that throughout your life that you went through a day and you said the day was perfect. Because even in Ice Cube's "Today Was a Good Day," the police showed up at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
That's what I'm saying.
I didn't like that because using the word rehabilitated, one, shows that you didn't take accountability, how you messed up. Yeah. And two, it makes him sound like he was a criminal to begin with, and then he needed this, and that him going to jail was the right thing to do, which makes me concerned. I'm concerned about this young man's psyche because he didn't have a record beforehand, which means this was like his real first introduction into the justice system. Right. And he spent 10 days in like real jail with real criminals. Like, you know what happened to Khalif Browder for getting arrested over, you know, a backpack that he didn't even steal. Yeah, and that messed up. That derailed his whole life. Who knows? But
you gotta think, you know, he went to Rikers, and that was, he went to Rikers. He got the worst of that situation. But still, even when 10 days, that can
you never know what might happen in there that may, you know, change his life forever. You know, I remember reading his statement. He was like, I walked in there a free man with no criminal record, and I walked out, you know, a criminal in handcuffs. You know what I mean? Like it sounded like he had faith going in there. You know, I might get a fine.
I'm in here doing my civil.
Yeah, I'm here taking care of my. And then all of a sudden he's in jail.
I'm at the mercy of the court. Yeah. And this is what you show. I mean, you might go ahead and pick it up.
No, ain't nothing but a bill collector. One of them 1-800 numbers. The robots.
Tell them we ain't got it.
Nah, they know I ain't got it. I don't know what they call it.
That's why they call him with the robot.
But it's just a shame that's his first introduction to the justice system. And it's instances like this because the judge was like, we're going to heavily monitor you. You mess up, it could extend your sentence. It seems like when they do things like this, they're purposely trying to get, you know, black people into like the system and make you a repeat offender.
Oh, they good for it now. That's why. That's another reason why I ain't like it, because it just speaks to the ongoing story that black people always have to go through these type of instances. Like we gotta walk the fine line. We gotta be perfect.
Right.
Just like when we look at
even
Obama.
when you are perfect.
Yeah, that's when we look at Obama. Look how perfect he had to be and his family had to be, and then the next man up. It shows like like when you look at Trump and then you look at Obama, you can see the difference. Even
night and day, but they make all types of excuses for Trump.
Yeah,
I've never seen a man misspeak so many times and have so many people, take up for him,
or so many false statements.
Yeah,
like
they got a political thing on them. Well, the lie count. But I don't want. This ain't about him.
But that's what I mean. Yeah. That's an example. You know what I'm saying? Where we have to always walk the fine line and be perfect. And then when we don't be perfect, we look at that as that's something that you always do and that you're a criminal. Yeah. Yeah. This is who you are, this is how you be. Meanwhile, you know what I'm saying, when it comes down to other races, mainly whites, when they mess up or something, it's like, oh, it's okay, man. It's just a mistake. They're black boys will be boys, or they'll grow out of it.
Right. Or I see myself in you.
I see myself in you. I don't want you to mess. I don't want to mess up your future.
Right.
As if our future, like we don't have a same. Like
I already knew where you were headed in the first place. This is not you were headed anyway.
Let me help you get there faster. Yeah. Like it's like that type of thing. Then those are the hoops that we feel like we always got to jump through. Mm-hmm. Whether you may think it's imaginary or in our mind, that's what it looked like. Like statistics speaks to that. Right. So it's not just in our head all the time. Like this is that case. This is one of them cases where we look at it like, damn, like was it did he really deserve that? Mm-hmm. But that's what it is.
It is what it is. And I think situations like this is important to highlight because it just seems to be another instance of, a case like this happening. And it's hard to pinpoint these things because we can't prove somebody's intention. But what we can do is notice a pattern. Mm-hmm. And there seems to be a pattern of this behavior happening. So highlighting things like this is really important because it adds more evidence. Now what's going to become of it, I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
just by the statement, because it'd been easier for me to kind of just think, like if I would have thought it through, and if he say, I don't do this to everybody, mm-hmm. and him not make the statement that I did this, or because he was the only black African American on the jury, he played a vital key. If you didn't say that, I kind of would have looked at the thing. I kind of looked at it differently. Right. I looked at it more in depth. Like this could be a thing, but now that you said that, now I'm looking more in depth into it, and it's like, damn, dog, like. So if he was white, you wouldn't have done this. Mm-hmm. If it was a jury full of Hispanics and he was the only black one, would you have still done this? Or if there's more blacks on the jury, would you have not done this? Like, what made you, like, you supposed to think objectively. Right. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's supposed to be like a black and white, no pun intended, but you're supposed to look at this black and white. What are the evidence of the case? And again, it's not a high profile case. So, and I'm usually the one that look at, what is the law? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's me, like, you know what I'm saying? Did he break the law? Did he do something that was breaking against the law? And if it is severe, is it within the laws? But when you say something like this and then you back out of it because the backlash of the community, that lets me know that you fucked up. Mm-hmm. That's his actions and his words let me know there was more to it than just, he didn't show up for jury duty. Right. It seems like there's more behind it than that. But that's where I'm at, man. That's where I'm at with it. That's where I'm at. It's ridiculous. This is trash. Yeah. But thank you for tuning in. Make sure you follow us again at PODMTG on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Also, make sure you subscribe to us on Patreon so you can get make sure you get your shout out, early access to bonus content. What else? Gifts. Depending on the level of. We got gifts for you. Mm-hmm. I know you like gifts. Yeah. And also make sure you like, share, and subscribe on our YouTube channel. What are you gonna say? Depending on the level of your subscription on Patreon, you will get a gift from us. Right. You get a MINDTHEGAP care package. Yes. We got a little something for you. Go check them out, man. Yeah, you let us know what you like. Well, we'll know by you subscribing. You got to sign out? Or we're just gonna let it go. We'll let it out, man. Walk that fine line, man. All right, we'll holler at you.